Yeah.
So, Renee,
Mel.
welcome back to this show. I'm saying show because you're a showgirl essentially, and I mean that in a very good way. So, Renée M. LaTulippe.
Yeah,
Um,
luckily.
oui, and you're talking from Italia, and I'm talking from Israel, and our friends in America are getting ready to carve their Thanksgiving turkeys.
That's right. I
Um,
had forgotten all about it until just now. I was like, oh, wait, it's
and
Thanksgiving. Yeah.
and we're here also with a celebration where we don't have to carve up any turkeys, which is a good thing, and we get to celebrate your wonderful, amazing new book called Limelight. It has another subtext. You don't make life easy for people. Limelight, curtain up on poetry comics,
That's it.
and it's published by Charlesbridge Moves,
Charles.
which
Yeah.
which is a great publisher,
Yeah.
and I'm happily jealous for you.
Well,
Um,
thank you.
and I would love to publish someday on Charlesbridge. And wow, so a few words about the book, and then we're going to dive into thespianism and everything else, and
Okay.
poetry, of course.
Awesome. I'm here for it.
Ah, I forgot to introduce myself.
Oh,
So I'm Mel Rosenberg, and I am the host of the Children's Literature Channel of the New Books Network. Renee,
yes.
it's wonderful to have you on the show. So before I ask you to explain your very long name with an accent grave or an accent aigu or whatever it is,
Aigu. It's an accent
a
aigu.
accent aigu en français, mais oui, je ne me souviens pas de mon français de l'école. So a few words on you, on your wonderful book, show a few pictures, talk about the illustrator, and go for it.
Oh, you just want me to just talk. All
The,
right.
the stage is yours.
Extemporaneous speaking. All right. I used to teach that. Let's see if I remember anything. All right. Well, this is Limelight. Poetry. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I've already forgotten the name, the title. Limelight, curtain up on poetry comics. And it is not really middle grade. It's like age 9 to 12. It's in that slot right there. Although I think older kids could definitely um, have a good time with this as well. And as you mentioned, it is published with Charlesbridge Moves, which is their middle grade section. I hope everybody gets a chance to publish with Charlesbridge. Fantastic experience. Fantastic experience. My editor was Yolanda Scott, wonderful thespian herself. Um, and she just took this under her wings. This is actually the first book I ever sold, but it's the second
One
one.
second, one second.
Yeah.
Limit of 14 puns per person. She a thespian who took you under her wings.
Yeah.
That's your first. 13 more.
No, I didn't understand what I don't understand. I'm sorry, I missed something there. I
But
didn't hear you.
the wings of the theater. She took you under the
Oh,
wings.
right. Oh, oh no, no. I can honestly
Ah.
say pun not intended. I didn't even think about it. Yes, well, she took me.
Those are the best.
Yes. Well, because normally it would be one wing, wouldn't it? She took me under her wing, and I said wings. So it was subconscious. But anyways, she herself is a thespian, and she loved this book from the beginning. And it took this sold at the end of 2017, I think. It was a long time coming, long time. So, and that's okay. You know, it was hard, but at the same time, we needed to let it percolate, you know, because I wasn't sure when I wrote it, and sh none of us were sure in the beginning, like who was this exactly for? You know, because the poems are a little bit older, but some are younger. You know, it's kind of yeah, a mishmash. Um,
We say a mélange.
A mélange. Yes, if we'll stick with the French. Exactly. I was looking for that word. Um, so anyways, it's finally out and I am thrilled because this one is obviously very close to my heart, having you know, a past in the theater, a very unsung and definitely not in the not limelighty past in the theater, but nevertheless, many decades in the theater in one capacity or another. especially teaching, which I love. Um, so yeah, this was, it would have been ridiculous not to write this book. People say all the time, what was your inspiration for this book? It's like, well, duh, it's me, it's theater, that's all the inspiration you really need. Now, it was Yolanda who hit on the idea of graphic novel treatment for this. And I was iffy because I had a very artsy, painterly idea in my head. And so it took me a little bit to come around. And then I realized, like, yeah, that's not going to work. Like, who's going to want that? And so, I mean, just look at this. This was illustrated by Chuck Gonzales, who is a graphic novelist, middle grade graphic novelist. It's set up in overture, three acts, and the curtain call. And it takes the reader, we organize these poems in a way that takes the reader along with, thanks to, well, not along with, thanks to Chuck's illustrations, takes them on the journey of a middle school musical production, a bunch of kids putting on a show, you know. Um, the classic sort of crazy for you type of plot. Hey kids, let's put on a show, and then they do. And that's the plot. Um, and what I love about how Yolanda approached this, it was her idea to do this color story where the act one is all just a two-color thing. It's blue, well, one color, blue. And then in act two, we add in some yellow. And then in act three, where we're actually in the show, it's full color. Um, so yeah. What else can I tell you about this? There's
Well, it's long.
Oh, yeah, there's 24, I think there's 24 poems, and they're all mask poems, which are my favorite things in the world to write. I love mask poems. And what is that? A mask poem is when the writer takes on the persona of an inanimate object that doesn't speak. And so these are all in the voices. There are a couple of humans in there now and then. I mean, I couldn't resist, but they're in the voice of elements of theater. So the theater itself speaks, the stage speaks, the curtain speaks, the melancholy curtain. He's very depressed. The audition itself speaks, the script, who was very annoyed when people go off script and just start ad-libbing, which actually is very much me because I was a director and that drove me nuts. So that's all me telling actors, please don't do that. The scenery talks, the unsung scenery, the hero behind the scenes there, or he is the scene, so he's not behind the scenes. Um, yeah, right down to the ticket, the marquee, everything. Everything has a voice in here. And the last thing I want to say actually is that every single one of these poems can be done or performed as a monologue or a dialogue. And that was something that was really important. I mean, that's what mass poems are for me. They're little monologues. So I could actually really see this collection being performed as a whole, you know.
Well,
Uh,
it's I can see it being performed as a play,
yeah.
and I love that. So in this book, I see a lot of Renee. I see Renee the thespian. I see Renee the theater lover, and I see Renee the queen of rhyme and poetry. There's a lot of you in this book.
Well, yeah. I mean, isn't there a lot of us in all of our books, though? I mean, shouldn't there be? Well, I don't know.
There should be, but here there's a lot of you. That's my take.
You would be correct there. There is absolutely a lot of me in this, and I think the reason that it came to me, I'm not going to say easily, but all of these things that are speaking in this book, I really understand them. Is that in my long and non-illustrious career in the theater, I did absolutely everything there is to do in the theater.
Exactly. So every poem is you.
Yes.
Read us one poem and show us the spread, please.
Oh gosh. Huh?
Because I love the artwork also.
Yeah, yeah, the art is great. Chuck did a fantastic job bringing this to life. It was
read, read us
long.
read us your favorite poem here, and then we'll see if it's my favorite poem.
Oh gosh, that's a tough
Hard,
one.
hard to choose among 24 children.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I like them all for different reasons. Um, I think that the rehearsal piano is close to my heart just because I think
Okay.
he's a fun guy.
Okay, go for it. Go
He's
for it.
he's a sweet guy. I gotta find. I'm gonna look him up. Oh, in the back of the book are the poems just written as poems.
Yeah, I love that too.
Um, I don't know. Am I gonna offend anyone if I try a really bad Brooklyn accent? I don't know.
You won't offend me, darling.
No, I'm in Italy, you're in Israel. We don't care, but I don't know about the people in in
If
Brooklyn.
you spoke in Israeli accent, maybe, but
No, I tell you because
I'm also a fallen thespian, so
yeah. No,
go
no,
for it.
I tell you no, I tell you because the rehearsal piano is from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Um
And I'm a pianist.
and oh,
So
are you? And
yeah, but that's
I
yeah,
can only go
read
ahead.
it.
Oh
Go
no,
ahead, read
I
it.
can only hear his voice, kind of like Marissa Tomei and My Cousin Vinny, that old movie. That's all I can hear. That's it. So, anyways, I'm just gonna do it. If I offend anyone, apologies in advance. Love rehearsal piano. Dear singers, I must thank you from the bottom of my bass bridge for your grace and understanding. It is not every day that an old no-name piano from Brooklyn gets so much attention from folks of your caliber. When the altos sang their warm up, do, mi, so, mi, do, it was so rich and low, low, I swooned. Then the tenors chimed in like church bells. Re, fa, la, fa, re. I swayed and played on. Then the sopranos floated in, flitting around like they do. Me, so, tink, tink, tink. All I could think was, geez, Louise, they're gonna make a stink. So I was about to say, what happened is someone left my top up. The cat hopped in, caught a claw on my bee hammer. Haven't been the same since. But I didn't have to. You laughed. And I love you for that. I would snap all my strings for you. And then you all sang for hours and hours right through the tinks. Because, like me, you're real pros. You will always be close to my heartstrings, and I hope that somehow by osmosis, you'll forever feel my gratitude in every note, even the sour ones. Forever yours, rehearsal piano. That's it.
Beautiful.
That is
Um,
an epistle poem written in the form of a letter. So obviously it's free verse, it could also be in rhyme if you wanted to make an epistle in rhyme, but this one is free verse, which is my first love.
really, before rhyming,
Oh yeah, no, I'm a free verser. I prefer free verse above all else. It's a little
you, but you
secret.
but you teach rhyme,
Yes, I do. I know how to write
and
rhyme, and
and and you're famous for that. So now, would you do you have handy to show the spread of that beautiful
oh yes. Let
poem?
me look. Let me find that again.
And then we're gonna Steinway instead of segue. Oh, that was terrible.
We're gonna
Uh,
Steinway. I like
yeah,
it. This is the
yeah,
rehearsal
have it.
piano.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
So we're gonna Steinway to my favorite
Mm.
poem, which is which? See if you can guess.
Well, give me a hint.
If you had to shine a spotlight on my favorite poem in the book, what would it be?
What do you like, lights?
Yeah,
That's interesting to me because I've seen several people who have said my favorite poem is Lights. And I thought, oh, I would not have thought that honestly. I mean,
there you go.
not that I don't like it, but I do love the illustration for that one as well. Let's see, where is it? The lights. There it is, page 47.
I should have warned you.
You should have warned me ahead of time. I would have
Would everyone please turn to page 47?
please, everyone put it in page 47. This is lights.
I love it. I love it. I
And
love the way
it
it's
is
set out. I
a
love the
con
font. I love it. I love it all.
yeah, it's a concrete poem. Do you want me to read
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, of course. I mean,
Okay.
you don't want me to read it.
Well, you can. Do you
I
have it?
could, yeah, but
I'll
I'm
read
not
it.
gonna. You're gonna
I'll
read it.
read it. Okay, lights. We hum, we flash, we make you sweat. We cue your lines if you forget. We're amber, fuchsia, blue, and green. We're hot, we're white, we light your scene. We're soft, we're low, we're high, we're stark. Without us, you'd be in the dark.
Okay, I think that that is just brilliant.
That is actually one of the first poems that I wrote a long, long time ago. Um, the first poem in this book actually was written in 2012, and it is the actors, the one with the actors, uh, where they're nervous about going on. Actors on opening night, that one. And I wrote that just sort of randomly. And it was published in one of Janet Wong and Sylvia Vardel's books, the Poetry Friday anthologies. And then I was looking at it once and I thought, I should just go ahead and write a bunch more. And Lights was one of the first ones. Oh, and Fly Person Rap. Fly Person Rap was the other one that was one of the first. So, yeah.
I love that too. So, we've had we've talked about your life in our previous a encounter with your previous Crabby book, your
The Crab
wonderfully
Ballet.
Crabby ballet book, which I also love. So just recap a few words on your career and why you have such a complicated name and why you live in Italy, but you know.
A little bit of everything sprinkled in
Okay,
there.
because I have a bunch of questions, and
You have a
I
bunch.
have yeah I have a new thought.
Okay. Well, we'll start with the name because that's real quick. It's just Renée Marie LaTulippe is super French, but it's actually French Canadian. Somebody somewhere, my ancestors, came from the Quebec area. So I would assume that before that they came from France. So yeah, so I'm the only one in my family who says La Tulipe. They all say La Tulipe, which I have always found difficult to say, to tell you the truth. I don't think it flows off the tongue. Um, so since I remember, I've always said La Tulipe, and they all don't match. So um, so, and I don't know how I ended up with, well, I do know how I ended up with Renee because my brothers and sister don't have these French names. They're French first names. They just have regular old names. Um, but somehow I don't know. I think I got lucky. I love my name. So that's the whole Frenchy part of it. Um, as far as what my writing career, I actually, yeah, you before we came on live, you mentioned you said something like you don't write many books, but when you do, they're good. Like, well, thank goodness for that. And it's true. I am not a terribly prolific writer, never have been. But what people might not know is that I have actually been writing for the educational market since 2008. And I have 9 books of short stories that I co-authored with that, and that is still going really strong. I'm no longer with that company, but for 16 years I did that, and it was actually through that that I discovered children's literature. I mean, I knew that things exist. I'd read children's literature, but I never thought like, oh, that's a career. Like people do that. Like I thought, the books just kind of floated down from the clouds. But yeah. Um, the person I was working with this homeschooling, this curriculum company said, "Oh, can you do a collection of poetry for kids?" I was like, "Well, yeah. I mean, I've been writing poems since I was 7." I was like, "Sure, why not?" So that's when I began, and I wrote something like 40 poems um, for this little collection for preschool. And I was like, "Why?" And I hadn't written for 20 years. I had not written any poetry for 20 years. And I thought, well, this is good. I like that. And that's when I just started my poetry blog. And I said, well, let me just try this. I started doing poetry videos, and then I've been asking other people to do poetry videos on my old blog, No Water River, which I have not updated in many years. Um, and then it just snowballed. I just met people and Janet Wong and Lee Bennett Hopkins, and I just loved them all. And I just had a great time and started getting poems here and there. And then I wrote Limelight, I wrote Crab Ballet, and yeah. And at the same time, I was still doing my educational my educational writing, which I love, which I absolutely love. It's a particular challenge. So,
And teaching authors
yes,
to be sublime in the
right.
rhyme.
Right. Sometime in there, I think it was in 2000, it was 2014. That's right, because last year I had my 10-year anniversary of Lyrical Language Lab.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, yeah, I'm not even sure how or why I ended up doing that. I just did it. I just spent 8 months developing
Hmm.
that course, and it
So
just it took off.
I have a theory.
Mm,
You want to hear my theory?
sure.
Well, I don't know if you recall, but last time we spoke, I had an epiphany, or we had an epiphany. This happens sometimes when the interview really reaches, heights, and something happens. And I don't know whether you recall, but the epiphany we had is that picture books are theater.
I do
Um,
remember that epiphany. I do.
yeah, yeah,
Yes.
but hold on, it has a wonderful development, and that is that these are plays for daddies and grandparents who are not professional actors.
Hmm.
In other words, if you want to write a good picture book, you have to make it easy. This was our I think our
Yeah.
finding. You have to
Yeah.
make it easy for the person reading the book
Yes.
to be hilarious, sad, honky donkey or whatever it is. And the books that enable the parents to be wonderful actors when they're reading the story, I think are the ones that make it big.
Mm,
That was my epiphany from the last time we talked.
yeah.
And actually, this has influenced my own writing. I'm trying now to make it easier for the people who are reading the book to read the book to the young children.
Yeah. And I
And
really, really think, oh gosh, who was I just uh I did an interview, a written interview a couple of weeks ago where they asked about advice, something to focus on. And I said, the first thing that you need to focus on is craft. You can have, like I said, I'm not prolific. I'm not one of those people that has like 8 million stories just bursting out of me. I just don't. Um, but when I do have one, the writing is everything for me. Like we're talking sentence level. The big picture might actually elude me for quite some time, but sentence level, it sounds real nice. It sounds really good. And I really do think that that's part of Lyrical Language Lab too, is about finding that musicality that makes it, because for me, the musicality makes it easy to read something.
okay, so this
And
is hold on, hold on. You
yeah,
preempted me here because
okay.
this is my new epiphany for today,
Oh,
which you've just epiphanized.
okay.
You've preempted my epiphany,
Didn't mean to
which
steal your
is
thunder.
no, it's your thunder, it's your show.
Okay.
Because so I was thinking this morning before our interview that sometimes, I go over your book and I say, okay, what is special? What is special about this? Um, and I think that in addition to your theatrical side, um, is that rhyming, this has plagued me for years.
Mm,
Why is rhyming so important? I hardly ever rhyme in my stories. But when you're reading a rhyming story to a kid, it makes a big difference. You can call it musicality. It's la même chose. Um, and then I thought this morning to ask you, but isn't that part of our previous discussion that when you make a story musical and rhyming, that makes it even easier for the reader to be an actor?
an actor. Listen, I'm just gonna have to disagree. I don't think that I don't think things need to rhyme for to be musical. I mean, absolutely not. Prose is musical. Free verse is music. It must be musical. It's poetry. So I don't think that things have to rhyme at all. And in fact, when I read stories to my kids, I preferred always free verse or prose. Um, I mean, I do, even funny books, where you're not going to get that sort of lyrical, poetic thing happening. They still have music in them in the form usually of like alliteration or those types of techniques there, onomatopoeia. That's all part of music, right? But they don't have to rhyme. They don't have to
Mm.
rhyme. The only thing for me with the rhyme, if you want to make it
So
easier,
what's that? So you're saying, okay, but I can agree with your disagreement. You're saying that the books, when they're musical, okay, in a lyrical sense, does that make it easier for the reader to be an actor?
I think so only because what are you doing um, when you're writing lyrically, when you're writing musically? What you're doing is you're focusing on that sentence level craft. And so I can read a sentence and be like, what a clunker. That's a really clunky sentence. So the craft that I'm working on here is making that non-clunky, right? We're getting the clunks out. We're smoothing it out. For me, that is lyrical and that is musical and it makes it easier for me to read it. So as a reader, I'm not, reading along all of a sudden clunk, I'm not, it's like driving the car over a rock, clunk. Um, it yeah, that for me it's just craft. It's just craft. It makes it just easier to read in general. I mean, that's my for me personally. I prefer, I think we all prefer books that are written well, that are well
But
crafted.
after agreeing with your disagreement, I'm going to disagree with my agreement to your
Okay.
disagreement
Okay.
because most songs rhyme.
Yeah.
And I remember as a daddy or a granddaddy reading the books that rhyme. For some reason, it does something that the others don't. That's at least for me. Maybe it's my kind of musicality.
Yeah.
And I'm in a sense I'm jealous of people who write rhyme because of that. Because there is something very engaging about it. Together
Well,
with that, it makes the books very hard to sell in other languages.
yeah, yeah, besides that. But as far as being engaging, well, yeah, there's a rhythm. We are rhythmic creatures, uh yeah, I mean, I play in the community band, right? And when I'm playing or when I'm always sort of bouncing a little bit, and I'm always like amazed by everybody who's like stock still. I'm like, how can you stay still when like the drums are going? And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, it's hard to play when you're moving too much, but like I would have a hard time not moving when all this, rhythm is happening around me. And and so yeah, we're just rhythmic creatures. Uh, so yeah, rhyme clearly speaks to some people more than it speaks to other people, but there's a familiar rhythm to it,
But,
especially,
Renee, if there's a rhythm and there's no rhyme at the end,
well, that's just weird.
yeah. So
That doesn't work. That doesn't work. I've had students who say, well, this is like iambic tetrameter. I'm like, but there's no rhyme. Like you don't need to do a meter if there's no rhyme. Like those two things kind of go hand in hand. I mean, unless you're Shakespeare writing blank verse and iambic pentameter, that doesn't rhyme. But why would you be doing that really? Unless you're like Alan Wolfe, you're like writing like, the Titanic book. I believe he has some in there. Um,
I'm reminded of Alan Sherman,
mm,
whom young people don't know. He was a great parodist back in the 60s. And he has this one thing, that my wife she took cooking lessons and she flunked the fried egg. I took skiing lessons and I broke you're wrong, folks, I broke my arm.
oh no. Eh.
So people expect, they expect the rhyme, especially kids.
Yes. Well, if you set up a rhythm and you don't deliver with a rhyme, it's annoying. You're just like, wait a minute, I've been robbed. No, r meter and rhyme go hand in hand. Um, One of the exercises that my students do is I ask them to read some prose picture books, and see if you can pick out moments of meter. All right. But then they get confused. They're like, wait a minute, am I supposed to be writing the meter? I'm like, no, this is just to show you that those rhythms are the rhythms of the English language, right? And they're everywhere. It's not going to be, da 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 all the way through, but you're going to find if it's, well crafted, you're going to find those rhythms. You're going to find iambs and dactyls and all those things, even in prose, because those are the natural rhythms that we speak in. But we don't want to write prose thinking about meter, absolutely not. But it's just an exercise is be like, it's everywhere. Rhythm is everywhere. So, but yes, if you are doing, a set rhythm, you got to give us the payoff of the rhyme, obviously. So, yeah.
When you say I am, it drives me. Um, I am. You are.
Right.
You're the one who drives the car.
Right. Uh,
Uh, but I can't write like that. But do you think that writers sometimes write lyrically, the good ones, okay? The good writers write lyrically without even consciously
yes.
throwing in.
Yeah. Yes.
And where does
Absolutely.
that come from? Because I can take your course and learn
Hmm.
how to write lyrically. You're still giving your wonderful course.
Yeah.
Um, but I think some writers have this innate ability. Is it innate?
Yeah. It's innate. It's innate. But it's also very possible to do it in revision, you know. Um, I write lyrically, I just do. I know how to rhyme because I just do. Nobody ever taught me. I just know how to do it. It's just innate. But that doesn't mean that I then don't go back and revise and find even more musicality or better turns of phrase that match my theme, for example.
Mhm.
Um, you know, you could read it and be like, oh, well, that flows very nicely. But I'm an editor more than a writer. Okay. Editing is really, I'm just better at it, I think. I mean, it's something I do. So I've got my own little editor there on but two of them really on my shoulders as I am writing. So I don't do first drafts. It's like that's gotta be pretty much it when it comes out. Because
Wow.
I that's why I'm not prolific, by the way. Because I look at every single thing. I'm like,
You,
no, that's
you,
just
you, you have too many people on your shoulders
yeah,
looking at
I
your
got a
work.
lot of them. It's got a lot of them. Plus the ones in my head going, no,
Li-
no, that's
li-
right.
little Renee's here,
Yes.
the jazz
Yeah.
police.
Yeah, one is enough. Um, But so it's very hard for me to just do a rough draft and be like, okay, that's a rough draft. Like, no, no, no. That sentence has got to be near perfect before I move on to the next one. So yeah, that's not the best. That's not, I wouldn't recommend it. But I'm basically just doing what other people do in revision, right? I'm just doing it on the spot before I move on, just to drive myself insane.
Renee, this program is about helping authors, include me, grow in our writing.
Yeah.
To the extent that we become like you and have publishing deals with top publishers such as Charlesbridge.
Well,
Um, and I think that you correct me, your flag is um, either write lyrically or go back over your manuscript and see where you can get this sense of lullabiness in your text.
yeah. I think
Whether
that
whether it's alliteration, the use of
yeah.
different of soft nouns and long vowels, and all the things that songwriters use, and of course rhyme if it suits you.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
this is brilliant.
Well, I think that the crux of the class, um, yes, we go over all the techniques. We go over the four major meters. We go over the metrical variations. We go over sound devices, and we go over, um, oh gosh, now I forgot what they're called. The literary devices like metaphor and all that stuff. But that's the outside package. The real crux of the thing is building awareness. It's building awareness of what is musical. It's building awareness of every single word that you use. So it is not a class at all to teach you how to write a picture book or a novel. I don't do any of that. We don't ever talk about it's all word and sentence level work. Because my favorite lesson, lesson 11, diction, I go into the nitty gritties of vowels, vowel length, vowel sounds, uh, how you can completely change the mood. You can transform a sentence in so many different ways just by changing the word choice and vowels that you are pointing on. And I think that is really the heart of the whole thing. Everything else kind of builds out around that.
But,
That's
but
like the
Renee,
middle course.
it's so much the same as songwriters are taught or they know innately. I mean, like I don't know, like I was talking about Larry Hart yesterday, Rodgers and Hart before Rodgers and Hammerstein. So
Yeah.
Hart had an uncanny knack of writing and also internal rhymes. And I can't see him writing Blue Moon and thinking, oh, Blue Moon, Orange Moon, Purple Moon.
Yeah.
Um, but
There's,
I think
there
I
could only
think
be a blue moon. There's no other color that it could
e-
possibly be.
exactly. Fuchsia, no, I don't think so. Um, so either you have to have this innate ability. I'm thinking of Patsy Flo Miller, and her wonderful book. When she talks about it's not a watermelon, a squash, a
Yeah, the
Sophie
squash.
squash,
Yeah.
Sophie squash.
Yeah. Adorable.
Um,
Yeah.
but there's this cadence, just the hold in your hand, just enough to love.
Yeah.
Which for me is one of do you have like a favorite thing like that somebody else has written that just speaks music?
No, I mean, I'm not a big, I mean, I have a classic book that I love. And you put me on the spot. You got to give me a list of things beforehand so I can prepare myself.
Renee, I don't know the list of things
I
beforehand.
know. I know. It's all extemporaneous. I love that. Um, It's a book called I Took the Moon for a Walk, which is one of the first picture books I bought for my boys when they were two, and I fell in love with it, and I go back to it all the time because one, it's the first time I ever saw a poem picture book, which is my other favorite thing. I love poem, and it's rhyming. I love poem picture books. So rather than a narrative picture book, I like just a poem. Um, and oh, who is the writer? Who is the writer? Curtis. Carolyn Curtis, I believe. And it's just so gentle. Like if you read that, the cadence is just so beautiful and gentle, and it just takes you from one page to the next. And there's that repetition that I love. She finishes a stanza always with "When I took the moon for a walk." So we'll go through. I don't know if it's three or seven lines, and then we get that repetition. Repetition is just so important. And the phrase that you mentioned from Sophie's Squash is a repetition of structure, which is also really important,
Mhm.
right? What was the phrase again that you mentioned?
Just the right size. I don't remember because we're
Uh,
extemporaneous.
yeah,
Just the right size to hold in your hands, just the right size to rock on your knees, just the right size to love, something like that.
yeah. That is
Genius.
yeah. That is parallelism. I love parallelism, which is just a repetition of structure. And that's another thing that I'm always pointing out. I'm like, look at that. If you just did that, look at the difference it makes. Instead of having all these choppy sentences in your prose, because Sophie's Squash is prose, um, you think about the structure of that. Like, how can you use parallel structure or, a repetitive structure to get the same thing across in fewer words and more musically? And that's a great example of it. Great example. Yeah.
So we're coming to the end of this one. I love interviewing you, and my only criticism is that you don't have books coming out every year so that we can meet every year and talk about this.
Oh.
Uh, but you do have a book coming out in 2027 that I'm not allowed to talk about.
So they tell me. So they tell me.
But you are.
Sorry.
But you can talk about it for a moment.
Oh, you want me to talk about it for a moment? Yes. This is a book I wrote during the pandemic, so 2020. And it was on submission for a little bit. It's a free verse nonfiction, and it is called Music in the Trees, Saving Italy's Violin Forest. Um, and a writer friend sent me an article about this major storm that went through a forest in northern Italy. And it says the forest where Stradivarius himself used to go and look for the trees to make his violins. And so other artists also back in the, what was it, 16, 1700s, there are many luthiers up in Cremona, which is in northern Italy, and they would go and they would find the right trees, and they would harvest them at just the right time. And then when they were harvested, they would know whether or not those trees had the resonance needed to make an amazing violin. Um, so anyways, this was, centuries ago. And in 2018-ish, I think it was, there was a major storm that just destroyed millions and millions of those trees. And there was a movement by the luthiers of Cremona and the community to save those trees and make violins that they would call the Storm Collection. And so the book is about that and about the storm and the music and the music that is contained in those trees, and that
Wow.
how they're being freed. The violins are being freed by these luthiers.
Poetry or free verse?
Free verse.
Okay, Renee, I'd like in summary for you to take out your gorgeous book, which was published a month ago.
Yes.
Limelight, Curtain Up on Poetry Comics, published by Charlesbridge Moves.
Yes.
Gorgeous, beautiful book. I saw it's only $19. It's like more than 100 pages. It's such a great buy. Everybody should have it. I'm in great
Well,
admiration for you.
you can also get it at the
I love you.
library.
Yeah, but I prefer people buy it. As I have a book
Don't we
coming,
all?
I have a book coming out in February. I want
Yeah.
people to buy the book.
Yes,
Um,
I agree.
read another poem, and then we will say goodbye to everybody, and you and I will reconvene.
All right. How about the understudy? It's a human poem.
Yeah, it's overstated, but what we can do it.
What's overstated?
The understudy.
Is
Sorry,
this a
sorry.
joke?
I can't
All
take
right.
myself anywhere. Go ahead.
You just can't. You just really
No.
can't. 70. Having done theater,
I love this. Your book is so big you can't find the poems. I love
I
that.
know. I don't know where they are. I have to look in the thing. This is Understudy's Nightly Wish, which is lovely.
Oh, I love that one. I love that one with the sneeze
With
and the
the
wheeze.
sneeze, right, exactly. So,
Reminds me of Adelaide's lament.
right, a little bit, always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Mhm.
Exactly, that's the sort of thing. And having done theater in high school as well, never in a leading role, you've always got that waiting to go on sort of thing. So this is Understudy's Nightly Wish. If only she'd sneeze, I could make my debut. Step out from the wings with steady knees. I'd nail every line, every cross, every cue. If only she'd sneeze. It's like living in parentheses, this wait to break through, praying for a bitter breeze to bring on a wheeze or a touch of flu. Hey, stars, would you align for me, please? My life could be changed by a tiny achoo if only she'd sneeze.
I love it. I
Thank
love it. So I'm going to wish you a lot of sneezes of other people
Thank you.
that bring you to the limelight. And it's always wonderful to talk to you. So I've been with Renée LaTulippe, celebrating her brand new book, Limelight, and a whole bunch of words after that, which you should run out and buy. I am Mel Rosenberg, the host of the Children's Literature Channel for the New Books Network. And Renee, you and I are going to say goodbye à tout à l'heure, au revoir to everybody, and in Italian, ciao. And we will wish everybody happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. And Mel, thank you so much for having me on once again.
Are you kidding? write more books. I'll have you on all the time.
Thank
And you and I will go and come back, and bye-bye to everybody else.
Okay. Bye-bye.